So we now know the 24 clubs that make up the 2025-2026 Championship season, but who, of course, we promoted to the Premier League. That's right. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my insane predictions, and they're coming at you next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today is predicting the 2025-2026 Championship season. That's right, early door predictions, who I think will be top of the pops and who, of course, I think will be relegated to League One. All that will be revealed in just a second. If you know where you've been, hit the old subscribe, your one-stop shop for Championship, Blackburn Rovers, World Football, all here under one roof. Of course, and a big shout out to the members and the Patreons. You know who you are. So if you are new, hit the old subscribe. But before all that, I'll tell you how we do things around here. We're going to start from the middle of the pack. That's right, work our way down to the drop zone before revealing the top end of the table. So sit tight, hold on, let's get into it. It's the 13th spot we go now over the Championship, and it is West Bromwich Albion. That's right, of course, Tony Mowbray is no more as of recording right here, right now. I don't know who's going to be the coach for the Baggies moving forward, so I think it's going to be a transitional season for them. Of course, they kind of fell short towards the back end of the season anyway, but I think they'll have a bit of a tricky start moving forward. They don't have necessarily the funds to build a new club, but they also might need to sell some key assets with the likes of Tom Fellows being linked with some moves. So, yeah, a bit of a mid-table season for West Bromwich Albion. It all depends on who comes into the dugout. And again, when we go live with this, we might already know who's in charge of the Baggies. But for me, 13th place, West Bromwich Albion. Into 14th spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is Derby County. That's right, John Eustace. Yes, I know. Did a fantastic job with Blackburn Rovers. He did a fantastic job with Derby County at the back end of the season, and I think they're in safe set of hands with him moving forward. However, my only concern with John Eustace is he has a sort of lifespan here. I think I've not seen him stick at a club for more than 12 months. So this, of course, will be the biscuit maker right here, right now. Can he stick around for Derby for the long term? And if he can, will of course be better with him than without him. So I think 14th place, good benchmark, don't get me wrong, and I think Derby County should kind of ground themselves a little bit. I do think they won't be in a relegation struggle this coming season, and I don't think they should be demanding much more than that at the moment. So 14th place should be good right now under John Eustace, but will he be lured elsewhere, of course, or will he get the chop early days? I don't know. Derby County, mid-table obscurity, that's 14th place. It's a 15th spot over in the Championship, and it is Wrexham. That's right, Deadpool FC are in the second tier, and of course it'll be a first major challenge, I feel, for Phil Parkinson in the managerial dugout. Of course, I do feel he could be one of the first managers to go, especially if the Red Dragons, or whatever they want to call them, Hollywood FC, will be struggling in those early months, those earlier periods. They look like they're going to spend some cash as well, but that doesn't necessarily buy you success at this level. We all know just how difficult the Championship will be, and I do think they're going to have not the best season in the Championship under this new ownership. So I do think a bit of a season of struggle and maybe even early managerial change, which will not be their best blueprint for them moving forward. Into 16th spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is Millwall. That's right. Of course, Alex Neil did a tremendous job for Millwall last time around, just missing out on those playoffs. But of course, trying to repeat that success this season is going to be a little bit more tricky. Of course, if you look at the key opposition, or the key clubs, or the bigger clubs that were kind of awful last season, your Norwiches, they were definitely pretty miserable coming into this. And then when you think about the likes of Birmingham and Wrexham coming into this with a bit of money, I think Millwall are just going to be thinking more about kind of maintaining their Championship status than really compete for the top 7. Don't get me wrong, they've got some key individuals, and again, losing those would actually heighten the fear for Millwall to be sucked into a relegation spot. 16th ain't too shabby when you think about the grand scheme of things, but of course, I'm sure the Millwall fans have got bigger aspirations moving forward into this coming campaign. To 17th spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is Hull City, of course. Now, as of recording, Ruben Selles is now being rumoured to be under a bit of pressure under the whole ownership, which could see a change of manager once again for the Tigers. That's right. I do think that's a little bit balmy considering just how good Ruben Selles is. He's not been given a full run-of-the-mill here. Of course, moved into this hot seat midway through the season on the back of a tremendous success at Reading with limited budget. I do think this could be a difference maker between relegation and survival. If they are to make a move and get rid of Ruben Selles, I think we might have to look at maybe replacing the Hull City further down the pecking order. Again, I'm recording this early doors in the month of May, and right now, as of now, he's still in the hot seat, but that could change. For me, 17th place, Hull City, but it could change depending on what goes on in the hot seat. Into 18th spot we go now, and it's Preston North End over in the Championship with, of course, Paul Heckingbottom at the helm. Paul Heckingbottom very close to going down despite, a very bad end to the season. I do have, they're a curious one, are Preston, because there's a lot of talk about a rebuild, reface, reboot kind of thing for Preston North End, and they do seem to have the right man in charge. I think he is one of the better managers on the paper, but will they get the backing from the owners? That is the biggest question. So for me, despite all the talk of a rebuild, I think they're going to have another season of woe. 18th place for the Nobbers, and that's, of course, more looking over the shoulder than looking up towards the top of the table. Into 19th spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is Portsmouth. That's right, John Mousinho doing his thing once again and keeping Pompey in the mixer this coming season. Now, this could be a decision result for Portsmouth, which would ultimately say that John Mousinho has gotten Portsmouth as far as he can, and maybe they'll have to look at a more experienced manager to push them further up the table if they have got long-lasting plans to compete for a playoff spot. So for me, 19th right now, safety once again for Portsmouth might not be a bad call, but if they want bigger, they've got bigger dreams on the agenda, then John Mousinho might need to either step it up to the plate a little bit, or Portsmouth will have to go for broke and maybe get a new manager in to kick them further up the table. But for me, 19th spot right here, right now, which is take it, Pompey fans, let me know down below. In the 20th, we go now over in the Championship, and it's Charlton Athletic. That's right, Nathan Jones is back in the hot seat, of course, back in the spotlight, of course, and happy to have Charlton back in this second tier of English football. I think it's going to be a season of struggle for them, though. I think they're just happy to be here and happy to be amongst the heavyweights once again and competing for the big. I do think they're in the right hands in Nathan Jones, and again, they're in the right. It's just going to be a tough old struggle and a very much transitional season for them being back in the second tier. So for me, 20th spot, hanging on by dear life, and we'll see how I'm right or if I'm wrong, of course, as the season goes on. Into 21st spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is Sheffield Wednesday. That's right, Danny Rowell, of course, is going to be lured elsewhere. You can pretty much write it right here, right now. I am recording this in the early doors of May, where he's still at the dugout for Sheffield Wednesday. And if he is still there at the start of the season, then maybe, just maybe, I'm going to get this one absolutely wrong. But I do think he'll get lured elsewhere. And of course, who's going to come in? That's, of course, the glaring question. The owner is not the most supportive of the club at the moment in time, and I just anticipate a very, very long season for Wednesday, despite only coming back into the Championship just the other season. So another season of struggle, and of course Wednesday will be going down in 21st spot for this coming campaign. It's a 22nd spot we go now down in the Championship, and it is Watford. That's right, they made the bold, brass decision once again to get rid of Tom Cleverley. He is no longer there, and of course, who's going to come in? Who knows? It could be, rumour has it might be a Spanish fella, or it might be the likes of Marti Cufientes. Regardless, the quality is diminishing at Watford. They're running out of talent, running out of money, and running out of serious ambition. I think they could get it right and strike gold with getting a good manager in, but the feeling is that it's going to be rinse and repeat once again, and Watford might come undone like a Cardiff and end up in League One. It's a 23rd spot over in the Championship, and it's Gary Rowett's Oxford United. Tremendous appointment was Gary Rowett, but I do think he might have taken Oxford as far as he can go. He's a tremendous coach at this level, and I also think he might get lured at a bigger opportunity that comes around, which will leave the U's in a bit of a pickle moving forward and ultimately get sucked down. They've also got some talent that they're trying to retain over the course of the summer, and if they can do just that, then maybe, just maybe, I'll have to revisit this prediction and predict something to maybe convince Oxford fans that they might stick around. But ultimately, right here, right now, my gut feeling is they're going down. Into 24th spot we go now over in the Championship, and it is unfortunately QPR. That's right, going to go down. There is a question mark about who's going to be at the helm at QPR this season. Martin Cufientes, as of recording, or when I was recording, of course at the start of May, was on gardening leave. So yeah, I don't know who's coming in. I think I did see some murmurs already, but the names ultimately don't really get me excited. I do think he might have been punching above his weight at Loftus Road so far. So I do think him going, of course, will just diminish the hope and dreams of QPR, and unfortunately, they're going to go down. That's right, over in 12th spot, it is Birmingham City. That's right, Moneybags FC. Of course, now in the Championship, following on a tremendous season in League One. They blew all the competition out of the water. They're going to spend as well when they have already been linked with some big names to compete. But this league is something else. I do think they're going to get closer to Premier League promotion over the next couple of seasons. But of course, you've got to understand you compete with the guys coming down, also compete with the guys that stuck around, those playoff finalists that, of course, didn't make it. So it's going to be a tough old slog, but I'm happy they're back. They deserve to be at this level, but ultimately they'll fall a little bit short into 12th. Into 11th spot we go now, and it is Bristol City. That's right, Liam Manning's boys did tremendous to get into the playoffs last time around, but realistically, will lightning strike twice this campaign? I don't think so. I think this division this season, despite the dominance of the Burnleys and the Leeds, I think this division this season is going to be much more difficult, especially for those teams in and around the playoffs. It's going to be... I know we went into the final couple of days with Bristol City and amongst 5 or 6 clubs competing for just a couple of spots. I think it might even be much different this coming. We're talking maybe 10 clubs competing for those playoff spots coming into the final games this coming season. And Bristol City will be nowhere near them. I think they're going to be around about 11th, just falling short in the end into a transitional season. And of course, maintaining Liam Manning is also monumental. Fantastic season, despite the circumstances. Will he be there in the hot seat? That's, of course, a story to tell later on. But for right now, 11th spot. It's a 10th spot over in the Championship, and it's Norwich City, that's right, who coming into this have not decided on who was going to be the manager. I'm recording this at the back end of May. Jack Wilshere has been heavily linked, and of course he did close out the season with the Canaries. They've also made some announcements of some key players. Angus Gunn has been released, and of course the futures of Josh Sargent and Body Saints also monumentally concerning. So keep those guys, get a good manager in, and who knows. But there's also some a little bit underwhelming feeling right now with the Canaries that they might go with the cheaper option for the gaffer. We'll see about that, how that pans out. But for me, 10th place, and that's Norwich City. Into 9th spot over in the Championship, and it's the Welsh lads. Not that lot. It is, of course, Swansea City. They made the bold move of bringing in Alan Sheehan on a permanent basis, and they look like they're going to spend a bit of cash this coming season. They've, of course, back now by Luka Modric. Will that be the difference maker? I don't know. I think they'll just still fall short for me in what's going to be a very difficult season for that top 6 spots. They'll finish 9th for me. Swansea City, keep an eye on them. They'll cause some problems throughout the campaign. Into 8th spot we go now over the Championship, and it is Stoke City. Goodness gracious me. Mark Robins was getting a tune out of that Stoke City squad at the end of the season, and moving forward, he might get a tune out of these guys moving forward. Now, traditionally, Mark Robins over the past few seasons has a slow start, and that slow start could bite him in the ass this time around with the Bet365 club. But if they stick to the guns and stick with Robins, I do think they're going to be there or thereabouts, just shy of the playoffs, an 8th spot. But can Sam Gallagher be the guy to fire this lot into the top 6? That is the ultimate question. Into 7th spot we go over in the Championship, and it is Kieran McKenna's Ipswich Town, of course, back from their fleeting season in the Premier League with a bit of money, of course, bit of parachute payments, maybe looking to kick on just again. Kieran McKenna's stock still stays at a decent level and might be a bit of an attractive option for some of those clubs looking for a manager. Will he want to switch the Tractor Boys for something else this season? I don't think he'll make the switch to another Championship club because they'll have a bit of money to spend. Keeping hold of the likes of Liam Delap, of course, is going to be huge. Other players as well. The Tractor Boys will hope not to lose over the next few months in the summer, but I just think they're going to fall a little short here in 7th spot. They'll be all right. They'll be, of course, in prime position maybe to strike the next season, but it all depends on Kieran McKenna and keeping those stars. Into 6th spot we go now, and it's Frank Lampard's Coventry City. That's right, doing it all again. Playoffs once more, but this time finishing in 6th spot, which is 1 spot less than they did finish last time around. Yeah, keeping hold of the key personnel such as Haji Wright, Jack Rodoni, and of course some of those key defenders at the back, and of course keeping Frank Lampard at the helm as well is going to be monumental. He has been successful at this level with Derby and of course now Coventry City, but will he get poached by a club that's been coming down, maybe a Leicester City or maybe even a Southampton? Who knows? But I think as long as Frank stays there, these guys are in good hands, and of course will compete for the playoffs once again. Into 5th spot is my beloved Blackburn Rovers. That's right, I'm not even wearing Blackburn Rovers gear, but yes, they're going to be in the playoffs, top 5 for me. I do think they'll better than last year. Of course, 7th with Big Valérien Ismaël. Transfer window is going to be massive to see just how well we'll do. As early indications is that Big Val wants to keep a lot of the guys in place. Of course, Tyrese Dolan's future is paramount. We do think he's going to go, but getting some new faces in, getting the right players in to play the right football for Big Val is key. And I do think we'll build on the momentum at the end of last season and finish as high as 5th next campaign. It's the 4th spot we go in the Championship, and it is Leicester City. That's right, Leicester City coming at you right here, right now. As of recording, have Ruud van Nistelrooy at the helm, but it is anticipated that he's expected to leave. May already left by the time this video goes out. They've got the key, they've got the power, they've got the money, they've got the players as well. Jamie Vardy will be no more, but they'll be there or thereabouts. So I think they're just going to be underneath those top 2 automatic spots and be in the mixer for those playoffs. It ain't going to be like last time where they were blowing away the league. I just think they're going to be a little bit more subdued this time around because I think it's more difficult now than it was then. And of course, they're just going to be playing a little bit catch up as well. I do think they might have a bad start to the season, and that, of course, will hurt them in the grand scheme of things. So for me, 4th place for Leicester City, of course, but who's going to be taking over the reins in the hot seat? Into 3rd spot we go now, and it is Middlesbrough, of course, falling short of the playoffs last time around, but this time it might be a little bit different. Now, as of recording, Michael Carrick is still in the hot seat. I am recording this on the 7th of May. Of course, if he is to go, then the likes of Gary O'Neill has been linked to coming in there. There's also some other, maybe a Danny Roll, perhaps. So they could be in better hands moving forward. Let me put it this way. If Michael Carrick's in charge of Middlesbrough moving forward, I don't think they're going to finish 3rd place. I think they'll make the chip. I think they'll make the decision and get rid of him, get somebody else in, and of course finish in those glorious top 3 spots and make the playoffs this coming season. It's a 2nd spot we go now over the Championship, and it's Sheffield United, of course, for all of the bridesmaids, never the bride. They fall short despite competing for the top 2 last time around, falling short into the playoffs. This time around, I see them making the distance and getting into that top 2. Chris Wilder's an experienced guy at this level, and of course, it kind of is his level, to be fair. And I think competing up against the guys that are coming back from the Premier League and those heavy hitters that are still sticking around, the Middlesbroughs, etc., I do think he'll have enough in the tank to get over the line this time around. Again, not challenging for the number 1 spot. I think that's going to be too big, too far. I just think Sheffield United will be the best of the rest behind an outright leader. So for me, 2nd spot, Chris Wilder, Sheffield United. You'll be back next time in the Premier League, but sit tight, hold on. You're not number 1. Into number 1 spot we go now over the Championship, and it is Southampton, of course, a dismal season out in the Premier League, but this time I think they're going to blow this division apart. I think they could be outright winners here, of course, and by a distance we're talking 5-10 points clear of the next best thing. Getting the appointment right is massive. Will it be Danny Roll? Will it be somebody else? Of course, getting that appointment right could be the difference. Again, if they do get this wrong, though, if they get the appointment wrong, then of course we might be having to revisit this. But as of right here, right now, my gut feeling is Southampton will blow this league apart with the money, with the players they currently have, and with the money they're likely to get from selling off some of the assets as well. Southampton, top spot in the Championship. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. Those are my predictions for the 2025-2026 Championship season. Of course, for the next few weeks and months, I will revisit these once, of course, transfers have been revealed, new managers will come and gone, and of course, maybe updated with the odds. We'll combine, maybe give you some new intakes of what we think will happen this coming season. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know who you think will be going up and, of course, down in this season's Championship. Of course, early door predictions right here on the channel, but until then, I'll see you soon when we return. Subscribe, smash a like, catch you later. We're done.